Well, welcome, Carson. I am super excited to have you here as a guest today on the podcast.
Anna, thank you so much for the opportunity and to be with you today.
Yeah, so let's dive in. Tell me a little bit about your career journey and how you got to where you are now as the founder of Working Simply.
Yes, so I started my career in banking and financial services and in the human resources area, doing training and communication, and I loved it. And then decided I wanted to see what it would be like to generate revenue. So I took an outside sales position with a big pharma company. And that is where the entrepreneurial bug bit me. Because when I was doing that work, when you took the job, they gave you a credit card, a computer, and a car and said, go. And I'd never experienced that level of ownership and freedom before, and I loved it. And it was also there that I realized that reason I was successful is because of some of the productivity strategies and tools that I used. My team started members asking me about it. I got to coach on it and really realized that, when you're engaged and fulfilled in your work, it is really a great place to be. And so I started my company Working Simply as a side hustle during my sales career, so late nights and weekends, and resigned. And now I've been doing this work at Working Simply for the last 15 years.
Wow, awesome. I love it. And one of the things you talk about is how you may not be in your dream job now, and you talk about how to make it your dream job. Because I know we have a lot of listeners where they're trying to launch their dream careers and businesses and just stuck in their current work. So what would you recommend to someone who's in that position?
Yeah, so two things. One, get really clear on your recognition and reward needs. And what does it mean to you to be seen and appreciated? Like, what does that really look like? Is it words of praise? Do you need a certain type of compensation? Is it opportunities or growth? That's really important. And second, it's this clarity around your unique strengths and the strengths that really light you up that you want to make sure you either do more of, or if we're going to look for a new job, that really allow you to showcase those. Those two pieces are really important in creating that dream job, which means you've got to do some work. You've got to do some inner work and get clear and really know what engagement and fulfillment means for you.
Yeah, that's so good. And because you say that the way we work has changed too forever, and that's a good thing. So I'm curious what that is.
So this is part pandemic silver lining and part just what I had been seeing for a few years in our own client organizations around the emergence and the recognition that we are in relationship with our employers. And like any other relationship, it's about give and take in service of a mutual goal. And so that means I have more agency and ownership to create work that's fulfilling and engaging. So that's exciting. And then the pandemic forced it, right? So we have done things in a matter of weeks and months that probably would not have been considered possible many years ago. And going home made us really evaluate, I think, personal priorities, professional priorities, boundaries, the how of work, the productivity piece, the engagement, fulfillment, all this came up.
Definitely. Yeah. It's like, it was almost like hitting a roadblock, right? That's encouraging every one of us to make some change in some way. So what do you do when you hit that roadblock?
Yeah, well, if you hit the roadblock, it can either be paralyzing or energizing, right? So, I mean, change is hard. And so I think let's pull the roadblock of, ooh, now I'm at home and I'm juggling 15 priorities at work and I have this whole home life that changed. And so what's most important to me now? Where do I have an opportunity to innovate or redesign, and what can I let go of? That to me is how you navigate roadblocks around change.
Yeah. So how do you design work? So your new book, Own It, Love It, Make It Work, which I love the name. You talk about how to design work in a way that meets both professional and personal needs and goals. Like, tell us all about that.
So it starts with a recognition of your strengths. What are your unique skills, experiences, and abilities? Because when we work from a place of strength, we magnify our performance, and most of us are happier. So I would imagine for you, Anna, one of your strengths is engaging folks in conversation. And if you could do this all day long, this is pretty exciting.
If we're talking about career stuff, I could do that all day.
Yeah.
This topic.
Okay. So this is the piece. So not only is it unique strengths and skills, so you're obviously able to have a conversation and connect ideas and concepts for your listeners in the topic of career.
Yeah.
Right. So knowing your strengths. And then if we're going to craft our job, the current job, so we have more choice and flexibility, then you've got to be really clear on the value that your strengths add to your company. And I'm not talking, this is revenue, customer service, creation of new projects and ideas. So it's knowing those strengths and then very intentionally aligning to when you do this work, here's the benefit to the company. Because we can't ask, let me rephrase that. It's more challenging to ask our manager or company to spend more time in these conversations, less time on reports, some flexibility around my workday, if we're not showing the value that you're providing. Because this is a give and take. I'm giving you this value. This is how it's serving you. In return, relationship, I want more flexibility and I want to spend more time doing this type of work.
I love that, because not only are you happier because you're working in your strengths, but then you're benefiting your company too, because your company's benefiting by your strengths.
Absolutely. And it gives an opportunity also to look at the work that you're doing that maybe is busy work or rework, work that can be automated, that really isn't serving the ultimate goals of the organization. And so let's let it go, or let's figure out another way to get it done.
So do you recommend what assessment? I know I love the Strengthsfinder. Is that what you recommend to figure out your strengths, or how do you figure out your strengths?
So absolutely. I mean, that's the gold standard. So Strengthsfinder is great. There's another process that we use with our clients where we have them do, and this is my favorite way to do it. You can do it through reflection. Strengthsfinder is a calendar and task list audit. So you open up your task list, you go through your task, and it is a quick. When you do this task, are you on fire and happy? Thumbs up, neutral, or thumbs down. And literally really quick assessment. Same thing for your calendar. And then we take those thumbs up, smiley face, whatever you put next to them, plus sign, and we put them in one document and start to look at what are the core themes. Is it when you do it? Is it who you're doing it with? Is it, to your point, Anna, conversation? Okay. Conversation around career, on fire.
Yeah.
And we want to distill it down that way. And the reason I like the task and calendar list analysis is because it's grounded in the reality of your work. And the premise in my book is that you can create, any job can be your dream job because you create it. So if we are working within the confines of your current work, let's look for those elements we want more of for more engagement, fulfillment. And what are those elements if we're looking for that next job that we want to make sure are there?
I love that. And personal life too, right? Like maybe where you're like wasting time as well in your calendar. And that leads us to what I asked you if we could talk about as well, because you also, when I was researching you before this, you also have this productivity style assessment. And my audience knows I love talking about time management, productivity. So tell us about this productivity style assessment, figuring out your productivity style.
Yes. So when I was in that transition from my sales job to starting my company, the big aha was, all of these time management strategies that are on the market are best practices. Some of them work for my team members, and some of them are terrible for them. They're like terrible. It's like, what's going on? And so in graduate school, I did research into cognitive styles, which is how we think and process information, and developed an assessment, the productivity style assessment, to help our clients or anyone identify how they think and process information. so that you can create a personalized productivity toolkit and stop feeling like a failure for trying to use this app and it just doesn't work for you. Because the premise is that if you're analytical or linear or fact-based, most of the apps and tools on the market are going to work really well for you. But what if you're big picture, intuitive, kinesthetic, creative? A task list with lines and structure is the last thing you want. We need whiteboards and mind maps and colored markers and visual, tangible reminders. So you really got to personalize it based on how you think and process. So when you take the assessment, 4 styles, prioritizer, planner, arranger, and visualizer, they can find the assessment on either Carson, Tate, or Working Simply. You can click on it. And then we give you a report on your style and then tell you the strategies and tools that will work for you.
Awesome. What are you? I'm curious.
So because we're all whole brained, so we use all 4 of these, but I'm closely tied between what is called our arranger, which is our communicative, intuitive, relational worker, and the planner, which is that organization list maker, likes the container store because there's a container for everything kind of person.
Awesome. I love it. So what are some of the professional development books that you have read and that you recommend?
Yes. So the one that I'm recommending the most right now is Dare to Lead by Brene Brown, because I think regardless of if you're a team leader or people leader, there's such great material in there around leadership of self. And I believe to be successful in our personal and professional lives, the first step is to lead self and make sure that you're really clear on who are you, how are you showing up, and what potential triggers, unconscious habits, and biases could be influencing you in your life.
Yeah, that's such a good one. I want to go back to the very beginning when you were talking about how you did your side hustle, because we have a lot of people who are side hustling and launching their business, and you did it, you succeeded, you launched your business. So going back to that time, like, what do you wish you would have known at that time? Now that you see yourself, now you're here, right? So what can you tell our side hustlers to motivate them right now?
Yes. This sounds counterintuitive, but jump sooner. So, Anna, I wanted to keep getting my process better and better and have just one more client to test it on and 3 lined up, and just kept waiting for that perfect time. At some point, pursuit of perfection gets in the way of just, getting the work done and getting out there. So wish I'd done that. And the other thing I wish I had done, if I could go back, and we've doubled down now in the company, is where are the tools to automate? There's such great technology available for entrepreneurs, well, for all of us, that I really wish I had doubled down and automated faster and sooner using some of the technology that's available.
And I'm going to ask you what tools do you
Yes,
recommend?
I hope so. Well, I'm going to be, we're talking about side hustle. I'm going to be super basic. First and foremost, QuickBooks.
Yes.
Get the finances working, and QuickBooks will do a lot for you. And then the other thing, these are really basic that I wasn't using, your email tool. So do you have autoresponders set up if you're going to be on a client project site? Have you created templates and signatures or quick parts, or you tell me whatever platform you're on, to answer your customers' frequently asked questions? These are tools that we all have that are really inexpensive, that really ought to be optimized.
Yeah, because you can save time. And when you're starting, you're doing everything.
You're doing everything. And so any opportunity to ratchet out, a few more minutes, which is why it sounds, people are like, God, you care about seconds in email. Well, absolutely. If you're processing hundreds of emails, seconds can mean hours in a work week. So if I type an email more than twice, that is a flag. We either need a template, we need a signature, we need a process around it, because this isn't the highest and best use of my time or team's time if it can be automated this way.
Yeah. So it takes a little while to probably set it up in the beginning, right? Like setting up all those emails, but it'll save you time.
Absolutely. And I also believe, Anna, that there is power in just in time. It's really hard to sit, I'm going to think about all the questions my customers ask me. Good luck. So they ask you, you're like, I've heard this 4 times. Take the 5 minutes, do it quickly, move on. So I like to just kind of keep doing it as we go.
That's so smart. So where can everyone go learn more about you and the work that you're doing?
Yeah, so carsontate.com, or Working Simply, that's the assessments on both. And then the Carson Tate on LinkedIn.
Awesome. And your book's on Amazon. We know
And
that
my book is on Amazon. Own it, love it, make it work.
Awesome. So before we go, I want your last piece of wisdom for everyone here who is launching their dream career, trying to get unstuck, trying to make their dreams happen. What would be your words of wisdom for them today?
What's at stake if you don't do it, personally and professionally? And what is the fear, or where you lack faith in yourself, that is preventing you from reaching for the stars?
I love it. So like figuring out what's holding you back, basically, and being aware of that.
Being aware of it, I think there's twofold here. One, what's really in it for you to take the risk, to turn the side hustle into your full-time career and give up the steady paycheck or whatever that might be? Like, we really need to be so clear on what's in it for you and your family or friends, and name and claim the fear that's standing between you and that dream. Yeah. It's a little bit like, my analogy that I always use is, when I was little, I watched this movie, The Gremlins. I'm now dating myself. It's about these little furry, cute animals that they get wet, they turn into these scary creatures with fangs and they eat people. I thought they lived under my bed, and every night I couldn't go to sleep unless I left the light on. No gremlins. This is the same thing about naming and claiming your fears. Turn on the lights. Let's look at them. And the truth is, they're probably not that real and or insurmountable.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Carson, for being here and sharing
Appreciate
this.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.